So last week on the show, we talked about the 7 chords in a key, but this week we're going to zoom in on a very important chord and how it relates to a key in general. Allow me to introduce you to the dominant chord. Alright, so you remember that there are 7 chords in a key. Well, each of these chords have names, and the 5th chord of a key is called the dominant chord. So I'm going to head over to the piano and let's take a closer look at this. The dominant chord is a source of tension. It kind of leaves your ear wanting more. It needs a resolution of some sort. Let's take a look at the key of C. So, if you remember from last week's episode, the 5th chord in the key of C is G major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, G major. So G is our dominant chord, or our 5 chord. If you see the 5 chord in a song, there is a very good chance that it will resolve from the 5 to the 1 chord, or the tonic, which in this case is C. So when a 5 chord moves to the 1 chord, it's called a cadence. An example of this can actually be found in the Super Mario Bros. Theme. Before I start getting into how that works, I want to expand this chord a little bit by adding a note. So let's take our G major chord. Remember that a major chord is built with a major third and a perfect fifth. So we have our root on G, a major third between G and B, and a perfect fifth between G and D. So if you remember that chords are built in thirds, as in from G to B is a major third, and from B to D is a minor third. Let's take this a step further and add a note a third above D. Now, a major third above D would be F sharp, a minor third above D would be F, and since we're in the key of C and we're only using notes within the key right now, then F will be our note here. At this point, we have G, B, D, and F. F is a minor 7th above G. And when you have a major chord like this with a minor 7th on the top, you have a dominant 7th chord. So this chord here would be G7. The two really important notes here are the third and the 7th, which is B and F. Notice there is a tritone between B and F here. So it's a really dissonant, harsh-sounding interval. It needs a resolution of some kind. This is where leading tones come in. So if we try and play a major scale, and we stop on the 7th note, it doesn't really seem to, what am I trying to say? It doesn't have that resolving finality to it. It's like saying something but leaving out the last word of your sentence. The listener is expecting something but doesn't get it. So in order to resolve that, we move from B to C. Here, B is the leading tone. A leading tone would be any note that resolves up or down a semitone to some other note. So here, B is a leading tone as it moves from B to C. So let's take a look at this G7 chord again. So take a look at B and F again. If we go from this G7 chord to a C major chord, Notice that both the B and F notes resolve up or down a semitone. So if we have G7, the B resolves up a semitone to C, and the F resolves down a semitone to E. So leaving out the other notes of the chords and just looking at the leading tones themselves, it sounds like this. And it has that nice resolution to it. The notes don't have to be in this order. They don't have to resolve inward like this, from a larger interval to a smaller one. You can also resolve in the other direction. If you take F over here and B over here, and you resolve F down to E here and B up to C here. G7 is really nice because it has two leading tones. Both B and F are leading tones here, whereas a normal G chord only has one leading tone. There's only one naturally occurring dominant seventh chord in a key. And by this I mean that the dominant seventh chord shape here, the root, major third, perfect fifth, and minor seventh, that pattern only happens once in a key, on the fifth scale degree. So that means the only dominant seventh chord that naturally occurs in a key is on the fifth degree of the scale. You can have dominant chords on other scale degrees, but that's a topic for another day. That's kind of becoming my catchphrase. So with all of this said, how do we use this idea of a 5-to-1 cadence in music? Well, considering how it moves from a place of tension to a place of rest, it's generally used as an ending in songs. If a song is a story, then cadences are the paragraph breaks, essentially. They can signify a new section that's about to start, like the end of a verse going into a pre-chorus. In Silica's image song from Sword Art Online, there's a 5-to-1 cadence at the end of the verse right before the pre-chorus. It's in the key of E flat major. And the fifth scale degree here, E flat, F, G, A flat, is B flat. Our fifth scale degree here is B flat. So the 5 chord is B flat major. And right before the pre-chorus, there's a 5-to-1 cadence in the key of E flat. Another good example is the intro to Snow Mountain from Super Mario 64. Another good example is White Clover from Clannad. This song is in the key of G major. Your fifth scale degree is D. So D7 is our dominant chord. Right as the song's about to loop over again, there's a D7 headed for G major as the song starts over. Alright, so hopefully this has given you a bit of a look into the dominant chord and how a basic cadence works. The 5 chord doesn't have to be used as part of a cadence, and it can go to other chords other than the 1 chord. Remember that theory is not a rule book, it's just a set of guidelines. It's just an explanation for how things work. And just because you have a 5 chord doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go to the 1 next. However, it is very useful, and that's one of the best applications of it. In fact, cadences are actually one of the best ways to find out the key of a song. Because of how strongly they resolve, cadences are used to firmly set the key of the song in motion. This week's album of the week is the Clannad original soundtrack. Clannad was a visual novel in, I think, 2004, and it was later turned into an anime, and it's got an amazing soundtrack. Solo piano works, and rock music, ambient stuff, and acoustic music, and it's It's incredible. Definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. I don't know about any other regions, but it's actually available on the American iTunes store. I think it's like $15 on the iTunes store, which is really, really cheap for the amount of songs. Go check that out. You will not regret it. It's amazing. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Hit subscribe if you want to be updated on new videos. Check out the website at ongakuconcept.com for sheet music and exclusive content. And if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments section or tweet me at ongakuconcept. Thanks. See you guys next week.